My name's Alan Hart. In today's video we're going to talk about no hot water on a Viessmann Vitodens 100. This boiler is a 35 kilowatt boiler. So I'm going to go through some of the basic things to check, and also this boiler, the water is fluctuating, hot and cold, goes up to temperature. So I'll show you that, and then I'll show you how to repair it as well. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the boiler. This is the Vitodens 100 WB1C, and it's a 35 kilowatt boiler. We would expect to get around 14 litres a minute from this at a 35 degree rise. I haven't turned the power on yet on this, but we would check, obviously we'd check the power was on. That's the hot water selector, and we would turn that up, make sure that's up onto full, and then we'll turn the boiler on. And then what I'm going to do, before we even take the case off and before we look inside the boiler, we'll go run the hot water tap and we'll check the flow rate, just to make sure that it's not running too quick through the boiler. So we'll check that now. The importance of checking this is, if you've got too much flow going through the boiler, then the water will be cooler. It can only rise the temperature by 35 degrees, and that's at 14 litres per minute. So we can see there clearly it is about 14 litres a minute. So we'll leave that running now, and then we'll go and have a look inside at the boiler temperature. So we've turned the hot water on now, and it's just going up to full. We would expect this normally to settle around 62 to maybe 67ish, so maybe about 65 degrees we normally expect this to settle at. If it goes above that, then we would suspect it could have a problem with a plate heat exchanger. So we'll see what happens here now. So we can see it's going above what we'd expect it to be. So this is getting a lot higher now than we would expect. So this would indicate to me, or it give me an idea, that we've got a blocked or a partially blocked plate heat exchanger. So now what we'll do, we'll have a look inside. We'll just wait to see if this shuts off, but then we'll have a look inside and we'll strip it down. We'll take the plate heat exchanger out, we'll clean it out, and then we'll put it all back together, and then we'll do this again and we'll see what difference we have. But you can see there now, burner's just gone down. So if we measured temperature at water now, we'd find that the hot water is probably not that hot, because it's going on and off. It's going up to temperature, shutting off. You can hear it's gone down now. So that's the reason for the problem with this boiler. So let's strip it down now and we'll have a look. As always, if you're going to take the combustion cover off a boiler, make sure you're gas safe registered, or get somebody who's gas safe registered to do it for you. You've got two screws under here. First of all, we'll turn the power off, and then we would do all our safety checks. We'll undo these two screws at bottom, and then we'll just lift the cover off. We've undone the screws below, and then the case just lifts off. As I say, this has got a seal on here, so you must be gas safe registered if you're going to work on this boiler. Let's have a look inside, we'll have a closer look. If we want to get to plate heat exchanger, just lift these flaps down, and then the plate heat exchanger is right at the back there. To make it easier, I'm going to take the burner out. Now this seems to say that it's been serviced 2017, which normally when people write stuff like this on, it means it's been fully stripped down. But when I look at the gas pipe here, I can see that it's still got the seal on there. So I would suspect that when we lift this out in a minute, this has never been serviced, but we'll have a look and we'll see. The gas on this is the yellow tap. Just turn the gas off to it, and then we'll just undo this nut here, and then I'll take all the leads off, and then we'll take the burner out. It's not actually that bad inside. It's not too bad, but I'll give it a good clean. I've got a tool for cleaning heat exchanger, so I'll give that a good clean. We'll just have a look at that now, and then you better see it afterwards once it's all clean. If you want to remove the insulation panel at the back, just take that screw out. And then that'll just lift it forward like that, and that'll just lift out. But anyway, let's get back to it. We'll do this hot water issue first. What we'll do now is we'll remove this plate heat exchanger out of here. We need to turn the cold water off to this, which is that tap there. And we would turn the flow and the return pipes, well, that's the flow and that's the return off as well. And then we would drain it down from this filling loop connection here. I've actually got a filter on, so I'm just going to drain it from here. But yeah, I've drained all the water out on the filter now. And what I can do is, if I open this air vent here, or this, what that'll do is it'll just let some air in, which will allow more of the water to come out. So I've turned that totally off. That's the cold water into the boiler. I'm now going to go and open the hot tap. We need to get as much as we can, as much of the water out as we can, just so we don't flood the boiler when we're doing this. So that's the plate heat exchanger there, and we've got two screws. We've got one this side and then we've got one this side. Normally they come out fairly easy. Just need to make sure we don't get any water on the circuit board. And then with this, very easy, just lift the plate out. There's a lot of water in there, so you don't want to get that anywhere near your circuit board. I've just put one of these mop up things on here. So that's your plate heat exchanger. Now I'm going to clean it out. Just have a look in there, just check it about. I don't know if you can see on there. You can see all bits of muck in there. So now I'm going to just pour some cleaner, descaler in these holes here. I'll do it other side as well, but it's mainly just this side because that's the side that is in contact with the heating water. This side of it is the clean water. So we'll clean that out now. I'm just going to pour some chemicals into this now to clean it out. We've put the chemicals in there now. I'm just going to leave it for a while and then flush it out with water. You could put a new plate on as well, but obviously they're like £100 plus. So if you can clean it out, then that'll save you some money. I'm now going to put the plate heat exchanger back in. Just one thing, well, a couple of things really to check. This wire here, sometimes it falls down and it goes in between the plate. So when you put it back in, obviously it's not going to seal. So just make sure that is out of the way. Also, you've got some O-rings or some washers in back there. Just make sure you've got all them back in. So there should be 4 of them. And then just put them back in there. And then obviously all we need to do then is just put the plate back in and put the screws in. While this is stripped down, I'm going to take the expansion vessel out and I'm also going to do a service on it. So you may want to cut this video and just move forward maybe a couple of minutes or so. But if you want to see that part of it, then great. Also, what I'll do is at the end, I'll show you the difference in the display and we'll see if that digital display is now lower, which hopefully it will be. So yeah, well, I'm going to hoover this out the best I can in here, and then I've got that little tool and that cleans damp gaps in there. So I'm going to give this a really good strip down service. I've removed the expansion vessel on this. There's just a nut on top there, just undo that and then it just drops out nice and easy. And there's a little clip there. You just pull that clip out and then this pipe, this just pulls out. So while this is out, I'm gonna undo this. I'm just gonna check this pipe, make sure there's no blockage in it, and then I'm just gonna repressurize this. That's tight and it's still at seal on, so I know that it's not being done from new, so I might as well just do it while it's all stripped down. I've connected my pump onto this now. I'm just going to pump it up. There's no pressure in this at all. Obviously it's never been checked. Well, it hadn't because it was sealed. So I'm going to pump this up now. There's different calculations with this depending on the system. I normally top them up to about 1 bar. So on there now it's just over 1 bar. And as I undo that off there, the pressure will drop a little bit. I've just connected the expansion vessel back in now. As I say, very easy, just a nut up at top. One good thing about this boiler is everything is really easy to work on. And then the pipe, I've connected that pipe back on up there, and then that just connects in. This just connects in back down there. So you just push it in, and then you've got a little clip, and then that just clips in there, nice and easy. I'm going to fill it back up now. I've cleaned out in there, but I'm going to wash it out. I normally use the system water, so I've just got a little hose there, and then I'll just pour a bit of water down there. But I need to fill the system back up first, so I'm going to do that now. I've turned the water back on now. You can see that now is in line with the pipe work. which means that that's back on. And I've got no leaks out inside, so obviously check inside that you've got no leaks. I'm now going to fill the heating side of it back up, and then we'll see it on the pressure gauge going up there. One thing to point out on these is normally you'd need to bleed the heat exchanger just to get the air out of it. It's really important on these that you don't get any water on the circuit board. I've put like a little mat here, so if there's any water it'll splash, it'll go onto this rather than going on the board. And then what I do, usually your heating system will be warm, and so when you do this you'll be actually putting some warm water down, and then I just use this. I just open it. You need to bleed air out of these anyway, but I just open this a bit. And then you can just use that then to put water down the heat exchanger and just clean. And then just help you with cleaning it. But as I say with that, you need to be very careful not to get any water on the board. Obviously after that you'd have to top the heating system back up. If we have a look inside now, it's had a really good clean in there. And now I'm just going to put it all back together again. The insulation pad on this has got a little bit of damage on there, a bit of stainage. It's probably been underwater at some point or under condensate, and what had happened is when it's not been serviced for a while, this in here can block up a little bit, and the water or the condensate doesn't go down quick enough. It could also be that there's another part of it that's blocked, so drain or somewhere like that. But this boiler, I got this boiler from another gas engineer that's removed it from a job. I don't know the reason why it was removed, but the good thing with these boilers is you can always bring them back to life. You know, they're really good for that. Just put this back in. Just going to put this burner back in now. Just check that seal all the way around. Just make sure that it's no damage on it. I'll put the burner back in now. Just tighten gas up. I'm going to put a test on gas as well once I turn gas back on, and then we'll just connect the leads back in as well. If you have a look on the gas valve now, that red dot, the seal has now been broken. So I know now this has been stripped down, I know it's been serviced, whereas when we first came to this nut, that were a seal all the way across. So just a little indication that it might not have been serviced in the past. So the boiler's all back on now, the power's on, and now I'm going to go run the hot tap, and then we'll see what happens with the temperature on the front. So if we've got the correct flow rate, we'd expect this really to go no more than about 70 really, if the flow rate going through is fast enough. Obviously if the flow rate's not fast enough, then it'll go slightly higher. So let's just see what happens. You can see it's not going up now as fast as it was before. The main thing with this is we don't want the boiler cycling, so we don't want it getting up to temperature and then turning off and then coming back on again, getting up to temperature and turning off. That's what we don't want to happen. We want this to stabilise at a temperature. Quite a high output boiler, and the cold water flow is not, it's only 14 litres, so it's not massive really. I'm just going to nip out and just check the hot water. So the hot water is hot outside, it's all staying hot. As we can see now, this is not doing what it was doing before. So this before, it was going right up to temperature 85 or so, and then the boiler was shutting off, and then it was coming back on again, so it was cycling before. But as we can clearly see now, it's staying on. So we've solved the issue of no hot water or fluctuating hot water plate on this. I'm also going to check the inlet pressure on the gas as well, so we'll check that out. This has been running now for maybe about 4 or 5 minutes, and it's not cut back out. I've tested gas pressures, that's all okay. So that's it, it's all fixed. And it's been serviced as well at the same time. I've just got all my final safety checks to do now, so I'm going to test it with analyzer as well. So as I've said before, always remember you must be gas safe registered if you're going to be messing about or touching or doing out on the gas side or the flue side of gas combi boilers or gas boilers or any gas appliance at all really. So yeah, I hope that anybody who's managed to get to the end of this video has found it useful, and thank you very much for watching.